opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Wow.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
It's Friday and I'm back. Look out.
Yeah, well, we're already having a little bit of problems here with the sound system and whatnot.
Technical difficulty. Huh?
Well, we always have them.
Well, yeah. Maybe sabotage, but we seem to always have it. But that's live television, right?
Well, did you have a great time out on the mystical, magical Cape? Did you visit Barnstable, by the way?
Yeah. Actually, I was in Barnstable, Hyannis. I think it's like they're interchangeable because it was. Did
you bring back some of the homeless drug addicts with you?
No, I did. No, I did not. As a matter of fact, I was walking around the streets telling them to stay there. It's much nicer in Barnstable.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad we had.
I had my own campaign to keep them there. No, it was. It's always. The conferences. You have to get continuing, as you know, because in nursing, in many areas, you need to get continuing educational.
Right.
Credits, and in order to maintain your status, and mass retirement boards require continuing ed. In that conference, we had a couple of very interesting things. We talked about fiduciary responsibility.
Oh, that word again.
Yeah, that word again. Yeah, and we talked about pension liabilities, and we talked about a few things in cases of when politicians do not live up to their fiduciary responsibility. So it was interesting. I mean, I did miss not being on the show, but it's a necessary thing that you really have to get your CEUs and some of them you get to pick and choose a few times, but there are a lot of very, very good points made on some issues, and it's always good to listen to the experts, like our experts in Fall River on the budget, and who say that it's okay to move money around for unexpected expenses like salaries. Since when is a salary unexpected? It's like, really? You hire some people and you go, oh, that's right, we have to pay them. Oh, we didn't budget enough money to pay them. Or we did budget enough money to pay them, and we took it and spent it somewhere else, because that's what we do. We play Chinese checkers with money, So I mean,
are you dictating the morning Pravda show?
It's just mind-boggling how they have the audacity to get on media outlets and say that publicly. It just shows. I mean, if people that from out of town are listening to that, picking up that radios, and they listen to that, I mean, what do they think of us? When the chief financial officer of the city is saying a salary is an unexpected expense.
Well, let's clarify a little bit. She turned around and she said that it is a normal process for Fall River. Now, she said Fall River. Okay. To move money to meet unexpected expenses. Because if you don't have a position over here and there's money there and you have an expense over here that you did not foresee, like somebody's pay raise or someone's salary or, snow removal, you move that money over there to meet the budget. But, when I look at cities and towns across the Commonwealth, that's not the regular practice. This is your budget. This is how you do it. If you need more money and you didn't plan for it, suck it up. Too bad. And that's the way business does it.
Well, CJ, I'm glad that now, because I wasn't listening. I
know.
More important things to do than listen to them basically manipulate the truth. This is the way they do it in Fall River, and of course she's speaking from a very solid opinion base, because she's been watching them do this for about 30 years.
Well, and she did say
Because
that
they were the ones who did the audit when they did it all the way back in '91 when they were moving money around. But the problem with them is when they move it around, they seem to lose it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and that's the thing I take issue with. That you look at the budget in Newton, and I've said this many times, go online. The budget in Newton has every department, and they have a summary of everything that department did in the previous fiscal year. Everything and they also have a list of what they were supposed to accomplish and what they did. And if it wasn't done, they will give a reason. And then they have the plan for every single thing that department's going to do for the entire fiscal year. And that's basically all they get. Unexpected is like if we get 75 inches of snow. You know, that's unexpected. You know, if we have, that's truly unexpected. If we have an earthquake, you know, and it destroys the sewerage system, that's unexpected. But unexpected is not when you steal money from the healthcare to pay something else, and then you run low in the healthcare, you shift money from somewhere else. I think that's illegal, personally. I mean, the city council votes for a budget and appropriates money for a specific reason in many cases, in specific departments, like healthcare. That money is for healthcare. And they say, oh, we can use that for other things. That's why we've only got $600,000 in our account, and the employees have $6 million. And they're supposed to have 3 times more than us. So they say that. I don't believe it, and I'm looking forward to it because I guess Mr. Gupta said that it's the law allows them to do this, and at the next time I see Mr. Gupta, which hopefully will be at a retirement board meeting in another week and a half, I'm going to ask him to produce the law, because I do know that 32B very clearly says that they're supposed to keep sufficient funds to pay the health care bills. And 600,000 versus 6 million, when they're supposed to pay a 3-to-1 ratio, is not sufficient funds by any means. So I want to see the law that absolves them from complying with a law that basically mandates fiduciary responsibility. But this is the way the city runs. This is what the city budget is. It's a big giant pile of crap, smoke and mirrors, and the reality is that, you know, that company has audited this on and off in this city for 30 years. They audited it continuously for well over 20, and they never got anything right.
And they never audited it. They did a reconciliation.
Yeah, and they said that under oath, by the way.
Well,
it wasn't Mary Sahady. It was Mr. Haig who said it, and he said because they didn't have sufficient records. Now, there you go. There's the key element. And I remember the Arbitrator's Award. And the first line of that Arbitrator's Award, when they took $1.5 million of our money, employee money, and put it in their account and then forgot that it was ours. The first line of that, I still remember it, and it's almost verbatim, but I'll say I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. It said, it was apparent that the city's books were in a total state of disarray. That was the opening line. It was apparent to everybody that they don't have books. What they do is they have a number, a starting number, and an ending number, and they just make up crap in between to make it look like this is where it went, and so it'll look good. And they admitted this, and they've done it. And then after that, a couple of years after, they found 5 insurance accounts that hadn't been touched for 25 years. They'd been dormant. So you tell me, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm being too demanding, CJ. Tell me, you know, you hire an auditor, they audit the city, and they miss 5 accounts that were inactive for a quarter of a century, and you're going to tell me that's an accurate audit?
Well,
we're going to trust this?
They were beta testing Common Core math. But you know, she did say on Pravda on Radio Pravda that she has not been involved in the city budgets for the past 9 years. And then even then, she only audited them afterwards. So she lied because she only did a reconciliation of them after the fact. But what I think is really wonderful is that the mayor said, and I love the way he threw Mike Mioza right under the bus and the previous city councils. This is how much he loves these guys. He turned around and he said, well, we made the budget the way the city council made suggestions for. They wanted pictures and graphs. And I put in all the notes so that the public can understand where their money's being spent. That budget looks like an art project. It's also a fictitious story.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like a computer, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, exactly.
You want something good on a computer, you got to put accurate information in.
Yeah.
And I mean, who can trust, as I said, and you know, I don't care. And I've said it to the mayor, and you know that.
Yes, I know.
You know, I've said that I can't realistically, I can look at the budget and make comments on the budget and say, well, I don't think this is, you know, and this is ridiculous, and this is, but the fact is, I've said for years that I do not believe in any numbers that have come through the city in a very, very long time. The fact is that how can you trust numbers when they change every week? How can you trust numbers when every time you ask a question, you get a different answer? How can you trust anything? The only thing that you can trust is how much you're going to pay, because the taxpayer, they always get it right.
Well,
you're not going to save a penny on the tax increases or the fees. They're going to be right on the money for that. That will be the only part of the budget you can take to the bank, and they will make that old adage true. The only thing that is guaranteed are death and taxes.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is on Pravda, again this morning, the mayor got invited to his own show, because it's his show, and he said that he is saving $3.7 million. Okay, that's in the privatization because he doesn't have to charge that. And the thing is, he's playing with the numbers again, because now it's $3.7 million. Isn't that equal to the revenue stream we lost from the $10 a month fee? Oh, wait a minute, they go together. So if you're saving 3.7 and you're losing 3.7, guess what? You balanced it out to zero.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's actual math. I'm doing the wrong thing. Gets even better. But over 10 years, we're going to save the city over $30 million. Really? Over 10 years, you're going to save the city over $30 million. And over 30 years, it's going to be over $100 million. In 30 years, I'm probably not going to be here. You're probably not going to be here.
Absolutely.
And Fall River may not be here anymore either.
And if I'm here, I won't want to be, believe me. So.
But the thing is that he's using these exponential predictions. And understand, people, they're predictions. They are not facts. Okay, they're predictions. We know they're predictions. He doesn't want them to be predictions, but guess what? They're predictions.
Well, the thing is,
and you can't make this up. You can't sell this. And he's going over and over about how much money. But did he talk about the fact that he is? Oh, hold on, I gotta really introduce this the right way. Big news announcement: liar, liar, pants on fire. Jasiel Correa lied again. He told the people. The Herald News even quoted him. The Pravda even quoted him saying, I will give up 25% of my salary. He didn't say for 1 year. He said for his office. Now, it hasn't even been a year and he's already putting it back into the budget. This is the same mayor who couldn't get financed for a car. Even Empire Hyundai couldn't finance him. Yes, I have that confirmed. I have it confirmed. I also confirmed from 3 sources outside of what you found out that we found out why the hiring of Michael Hoare took place. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This is another political hack for a political hack. Okay? Michael Hoare is connected very well to one of the mayor's big political contributors and supporters, and actually serves on several of the mayor's committees. And that was David Hebert. And this is one of the reasons why Michael Hoare was hired. So this starts putting more questions on this administration.
You know, CJ, I mean, look, these projections and stuff, it's all pie in the sky.
Yes,
and
it
they're
is.
all manipulations because, number one, if you do basic, if you figure out basic math like you do in your house, if you spend more than you're getting in, you know, he's supposedly eliminated positions. How are you going to eliminate all your unfilled positions and then get free cash? That's how they generate basically free cash. So he's eliminated these things. Yet I believe that virtually every department in the budget has seen an increase this year in the expenditures over last year. Even with all these supposed eliminations of positions. And I want everybody to take a close look at the mayor, because he tried to shift a few of the salaries and expenses over to admin, but he's got the largest staff in the history of this city now with these new hires. Now he's got the new secretary. See how much money he's spending on himself and his entourage. I'm not saying they're assistants, they're an entourage. And take a look at it. And, you know, it just doesn't, look, it doesn't make sense. We're going to save millions of dollars. Well, how about the fact that there's nothing in this budget to address what happens if the Teamsters wins the unfair labor practice? Those people are ordered back to the table. He has to rehire them and pay them their back wages. How are we going to pay them? And then we're going to be locked into a private contract that, to my knowledge, still has a blank line, because I haven't seen any new one or any new revision for incidentals. You know, you can't make a budget in your home, and I can't make a budget in my home by leaving blank lines. Well, you know, I got to buy a car, but hold it, I'm not going to put that in my budget that I actually have to pay my car payment. So I'm not going to worry about that, and I'm not going to worry about if I get 16 new credit cards and run them up to almost the max. Listen, this city has not paid even their bills in years. They've only paid the interest. The trucks we bought for DCM, they never paid on the principal, only the interest. So we owe the same amount we did as when we bought the trucks, basically. And now we're going to sell them for peanuts. I mean, really? If, in fact, he was correct and we did generate $10 million and $30 million later, we still wouldn't be paying off all the debt that we've accrued, because now it's been probably 2 years, or maybe longer, because time flies when you're having fun. I sat in Boston at a meeting with then City Administrator Sean Kadim, Madeline Coelho, Linda Pereira, our state representative delegation, and our state senator, and State Senator Kenneth Donnelly. And Sean Kadim said the city was $500 million in debt, basically. If we looked at all our debt, that's $500 million. And I'm sure it hasn't gotten any better, because we've heard more than once that we're not even paying the bills. We're only paying the interest. And they steal every penny from everywhere that does run slightly under budget. So I don't know how they're going to generate free cash anymore, because they take all the excess money from healthcare and ship it over to somewhere. And now they have no positions. Supposedly he's eliminating all the unfilled positions. Well, those unfilled positions, not only the salary, but the benefits, such as health care, what the city has to pay 75%, the city makes a lot of money at the end of the year if they maintain. You know, it was always a common practice when there were vacancies to wait 6 months and sometimes a year to fill them so they could generate their own income. And at the end, that's where they got free cash. So I don't know how we're saving all this money, because all I see is more and more people getting hired, more and more people getting jobs, and look at the budget, and most departments have an increase in their operating budget, even though they have less personnel. So I don't know how those numbers are going to work. As I said, and I don't trust any numbers anyway. I will not ever believe anything that's presented to the city council by our financial team until they get a full and independent forensic audit of the city of Fall River. And the reason that every mayor gets hysterical and starts running around in circles when you say forensic audit is they don't want you to know where the money is. As CJ said, most communities, most cities that operate well do not do what Mary Sahady said on the local radio station. They do not just move money around helter-skelter, because when you do that, what happens is they lose money, they put money in the wrong accounts, and they've done it. We've proven it. And how can you have 5 accounts that weren't even, they didn't even know were there for 25 years? How can you take $1.5 million, you know, it's like taking your neighbor's money and put it in your bank account. Go into the bank and deposit it in your account and then forgetting you did it. Really? Did you really forget? You had $1.5 million bump in that account and nobody could figure out that the reason you did is because you put someone else's money in that account? This is the kind of city we have. And it's ironic that the individual from the firm that was responsible for the beginning of this when we began to look into the books, way back in 91, they're still around. This is, you know, that's one of the things about Fall River. They never go away. They stay as part of the political regime forever. This is the reason we've got to change mayors, change city councils as often as it takes until we get people who are going to look over every single expenditure, demand a true accounting, and never, ever accept a change in a number that was given to them without severe questioning. Because when that financial team goes up in front of the council 5 times and gives them 5 sets of numbers and has no answers to many questions and say, I'll get back to you, those people, there has to be consequences, because, you know, this is a 3-ring circus. You know, it's ridiculous, and the only way the taxpayer will ever see any relief is to demand accountability from these people with their 6-figured salaries. And I see CJ's reading in there in the control room. I don't know what he's reading. But.
Well, you know, we already got viewers texting like crazy, so it gets to be nuts at times. You know, we got a few minutes left, but I definitely want to talk about this mayoral salary going up, you know, $30,000. It's not going up, actually. He's getting the money back. And the thing that gets me is, in his comments to the Herald during the campaign, he made it clear that he was going to give up 25% of his salary to get the police cruiser, and the mayor's car was going to go back. Then he hires Falsfiore. Now, city ordinance requires that anyone who works for the city becomes a city resident. That's going to be kind of difficult for Faust now. He's been elected a school committee member in Fairhaven or Mattapoisett or wherever it may be, but he's been elected a school committee member. So now he's serving another city. Here we go again. Sounds like Sean Kadim, working in Seekonk but serving Fall River. You know, this is going to be crazy. So, granted, because Linda Pereira and the city council couldn't get their heads together and come up with a significant residency ordinance, the 18 months grace period that they get to establish residency runs out in June. So is Faust going to quit his job on the school committee and move to Fall River? Is he going to lie and use his daddy's address? Or is he going to quit the job at Fall River and just stay active as the school committee member? You know, these are questions that are happening. And the problem is that this mayor has lied consistently. He crucified Sam Sutter for the hiring of Lou Pacheco and Joe Macy. He kept Joe Macy. And then he goes out and he hires Michael Hoare.
Another former police officer, now hired part-time, that's on retirement.
And
Lou
chief
Pacheco.
of staff, same position.
So we can say it was like, the only thing that's changed is the name.
That's
the
right.
Politics has not changed.
Right.
So there we go. But, you know, in deference, Sean Kadim has a job. So with him, the questions are conflict of interest.
Right.
Because if you're a town administrator in Seekonk and we have something that conflicts with what's the best action for Fall River and vice versa, I'm not sure about the validity of not having a conflict of interest. But when it comes to Faust, he accepted he has a politically elected position.
Correct.
Which requires residency.
That's right.
You can't be a school committeeman in Fairhaven or Mattapoisett, wherever he is, without having a residence there. So that basically shows he has absolutely no intent to move to Fall River.
That's right.
And if he does give a Fall River address, it's probably fraudulent.
And
because if he sits at one school committee meeting in Fairhaven after he has moved to Fall River,
it's illegal.
somebody should send a letter to Fairhaven asking them to investigate if he should be on the school committee because he's no longer a resident of the town of Fairhaven or Mattapoisett or whatever. This is the kind of political crap. We don't hire the best. We hire their closest, and that's the problem.
Whoever's lips are brownest.
They've been around forever, and they just keep coming back. And the only way to run the city is run it the way they run cities that actually run like Newton, where you can look at their budget, and their budget will tell you every single thing that they're going to do for the year. And as you said, unless something catastrophic and unexpected shows up, and they go back before the council like all our departments do, and whine and say, oh, I really needed this, my numbers were off, I didn't expect this. Well, you didn't expect something that was a legal requirement? Horse crap. This is the problem. The problem is no accountability and no consequences for that kind of action. The only consequences we can hold them to is throw them out every single election and keep putting people in until we finally get people who get the message that if you don't take care of the people's business, you're out. And get rid of the myth that taxes are good, because everybody knows, even on a national level, they're talking about cutting taxes. Everybody knows taxes are regressive. You take money out of people's pockets, they can't spend as much, it hurts the economy. So, you know something? Let's hold them accountable. And I mean, this budget, it's just, we may do a special, but I'm not even sure if it's worth a special because every single number we're looking at is just absolute. But you can't have a theoretical budget. I understand that cities have to project how much they're going to get from certain things, and whether they collect them or not is another issue to a degree. But we can't have this when they get these numbers and they make these ridiculous extrapolations that, in 30 years we're going to have $1 billion if I do this. And if, we've already seen that the numbers projected for the savings on privatization was crap. So, I mean, how can we, there's no degree of trust anymore. They talk about a national distrust of government. Well, I'll tell you what, in Fall River, we should have 10 times the skepticism that the rest of the nation has.
You're absolutely correct. But I just find it very interesting that this bastion of lies is just growing so rapidly, and I honestly don't know where it's going to go from here. And I'm going to be making a statement sometime next week in a commentary, because you know what? The people don't care because they can't pull their head together. And you know what? When you can't pull your head together to create a significant change in government, you yourself are the problem, nobody else. And that's where we're at right now. The people aren't willing to do what's necessary. And that kind of scares me. So, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
And stay really angry.